Zweig Group invites all AEC industry leaders to the 2024 AEC Small Business and Entrepreneurship Forum, the premier event for small firms in the AEC sector. Experience innovative strategies and insights on May 21st, crafted by Zweig Group's industry experts. Engage in keynotes and interactive sessions focused on recruitment, retention, and business growth. Join Zweig Group for this unique networking opportunity and take your business to new heights. Secure your spot today and be part of the AEC industry's future. Visit zweiggroup.com for more information. The Zweig Group team looks forward to welcoming you.
Welcome to the Zweig Letter Podcast, putting architectural, engineering, planning, and environmental consulting guru Mark Zweig's straight talk in your ear. Mark has more than 30 years of experience helping AEP and environmental firms thrive. And these podcasts help deliver his invaluable management, industry, client, and HR advice directly to you, free of charge. The Zweig Letter Podcasts let you develop professionally, wherever you are.
Hey folks, it's Randy Wilburn here with another episode of the Zweig Letter Podcast. So excited to be with Mark Zweig. We are winding up our recordings for 2016. The holiday period is upon us, and there's a bunch of eggnog flowing and cider and all kinds of good stuff happening. But we know a lot of you are still hunkering down to get some work done before the end of the year. Recently, Mark wrote an amazing article on board of directors, and I actually had a chance to sit in with Mark in one of the sessions that we did at our Hot Firm Conference this past September in Phoenix, Arizona. And by the way, as a side note, we will be having a Hot Firm in 2017, and that will take place in the beautiful city of Seattle, Washington. We'll be up in the Pacific Northwest throwing salmon around and eating salmon jerky and drinking Starbucks coffee and just generally having a great time with a ton of really talented people from the design industry. So if you count yourself among that group, please come and join us. There'll be more information about the dates, but it will be, I believe, the third weekend in September. We will be at the Fairmont Hotel in Seattle, Washington. You can go to our website at zweiggroup.com or hotfirm.com as well to get information on the Hot Firm event. You can be a best firm to work for. You could be a hot firm. You could be a marketing and excellence award winner. There are a number of different ways that you can participate. You can just come out and rub shoulders with a bunch of really successful owners and practitioners in the design industry space. So really want to encourage you to be a part of that. And that's the end of my advertising rant for Hot Firm. And we'll be talking more about that in the future on future episodes of this podcast. But today we do want to talk about board of directors and is it time that you take a look at your board of directors and retool it? And I know in that 1 hour long session that Mark did, and there were some other people in there like George Christodoulou and others that have a lot of experience when it comes to board of directors for the design industry. They have had a lot of really good practical advice and some things to think about. And so Mark is going to just share with us some of his simple thoughts about board of directors and how they should be set up properly and what to do if your board of directors is really stagnant, and some ways that you can get the most out of those individuals that you've asked to provide insight and guidance to your organization. So with that, Mark Zweig, what do you think about board of directors?
Well, I think a lot of firms sort of view them as a necessary evil. It's just a typical sort of, small company, privately held company mentality. Mm-hmm. And the result of that is they don't really get very good use out of their board of directors at all. Right. And instead, they just sit there and talk about the same stuff they'd focus on in any internal management meeting. Yeah. And that's not the point of it. Yeah. You got to the board should step away from the day-to-day management of the company, and try to take a look at where this business is trying to go in a macro sense. Mm-hmm. Not talk about what's happening. Why is the Dallas office not making money? Or, do we need to approve Joe's, built-in GPS on his new F-150 if he gets the convenience and luxury package, and it adds $22 a month to his lease payment, or whether that's the right thing or not because Bob didn't get it on his F-150.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I mean, I see this stuff and it drives you insane.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's big stuff that they should be dealing with. You know, I mean, the board needs to deal with the stockholder well-being. It needs to deal with the strategic plan, making sure the right CEO is in place.
Mm-hmm.
Unplanned financial crises. I'm not talking about the Dallas office hasn't been profitable for 3 months. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about major issues.
Yeah.
You know, those are the things the board needs to be doing.
Yeah. So, so let's kind of back up a little bit and just kind of think about, you know, establishing and setting up a board. And I know, and you've talked specifically about this in your minds. What is the ideal size of a board?
Oh, it varies. I mean, I don't know that I have an ideal size, but I will say this. If you've got 80 employees, you don't need 12 board members or 15. That's ridiculous.
Right.
All shareholders should not automatically be on the board.
Right.
That's absurd.
Okay.
You know, I see some of these companies and they look like they've got the board structure of General Motors or something.
Yeah.
And it's a 150 person company with vice chairman and, you know, it's just silly. I mean, it really is. I mean, why do we need all those people in there? We need everybody to go back to work and sell some jobs and make some money and do something that somebody's willing to pay us for.
Right.
Every turnaround I've ever done on any AE firm, and I say this, it's really true. They all had boards that had too many people on them, that met too often, that met for too long,
Mm-hmm.
and had ridiculous agendas that got into minutia. Every single time. It's always been a strategy. Let's cut it down to like 5 people. Let's meet once a quarter for 4 hours. Let's all just go back to doing the work.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the other thing is half or more of the agenda is devoted to reviewing the historical financial performance. Another idiotic thing.
Right.
Every board I ever got on, I encouraged them, and I was successful in pretty much every case. And if I couldn't be, then I got off the board because I'm not going to waste my time like that.
Right.
But I was successful in getting them to send out the financials before the meeting. And then if we have any questions, we can ask them at the meeting. And it saves so much time. So we can talk about stuff that, you know, supposedly your most strategic thinkers should be talking about.
Right. Right. So, yeah. So it's, you know, like I said, I mean, it's always, it's kind of like that idea of working on your business, not in it. You know, it's a big difference there. So
it's true.
So tell me a little bit about the makeup of a board. What are your thoughts of, especially in the design industry, a firm bringing in a board member that's from outside of the industry, maybe that has a different perspective? Are you for or against something like that?
I like outside board members. Sometimes I've had some really good ones that came from outside the industry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had some good ones that came from inside the industry, but outside the company.
Okay.
They don't have to come from outside the industry. What I think makes for crappy board members are the firm's regular attorney and regular accountant.
Right.
No, we don't need them there. They're paid. They're not going to be objective because, you know, they're like de facto employees.
Right.
I've had more outside attorneys undermine M&A transactions that were clearly in the best interest of the owner because I think they knew, whether consciously or subconsciously, that they'd lose their client. But you know, it's terrible. You don't need those people on your board as your outsiders. I think a lot of times they get there because they tell the emperor what he wants to hear.
Yeah.
You need some people. You know, I like some successful people. We have some different perspective. I do like people from inside the industry. I've sat on boards of companies that were, you know, $30, $40 million companies where we had former CEOs of like the largest publicly traded AE firm in the nation on their board. That's helpful.
Yeah.
They know a lot of people. They know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They've been, you know, they've got a lot of lessons to learn. I like being on boards with those people.
Okay. All right. So what, and I know you've mentioned, I know you've told a couple of stories about some of the interactions that you've experienced with different boards. And When you have gone in to consult with a client, what's the first thing that you do to help them with their board of directors?
I think it's just try to work on the agenda.
Okay.
Let's work on who's on the board, and then let's work on the agenda. Those are the two things. I mean, get the right kind of stuff on the agenda, so we're not down in the micro weed area.
Right. Right.
Which is what the tendency of AE firms, AE firms board members is to do, is to immediately get sucked into minutia.
Okay. All right. And then what are you currently on any boards right now?
I'm let's see, I'm trying to remember. No, I've resigned from every board that I'm was on.
Okay.
Other than one nonprofit, which is a foundation, and then one university board.
Okay.
I say every board.
Right.
All for-profit enterprises at present. Not to say I would never do it again.
Right.
I just sometimes I feel like I need to focus on our businesses first, and that was really what led me to leave the last board I was on, which is a great company. I started with them when they had 8 employees, and now they got several hundred.
Right.
And I was an owner there too, so it was really great to see that success, and kind of hard to leave, but nevertheless, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And, and then other ones, I think when you feel like you've sort of outlived your usefulness, then it's time to move on.
Okay. What practice have you seen in this industry for people that bring outsiders in? Obviously, if I work at a firm and I'm on the board, there's probably not any additional compensation, but what is the normal setup? If somebody comes to you and says, hey, Mark, we've got a couple of key people from the company that are on the board, but I also want to bring 1 or 2 outsiders to the board.
Yeah.
How would I set that up, or what would you?
I've seen those people paid everything from a low of $1,000 for a meeting,
okay,
to a high of maybe $50,000 a year.
Okay.
And sometimes you have opportunities to buy stock at reduced prices, or they give you stock.
Right.
So I've had all those situations. I've never done it for $1,000. It's not worth it to me. But I've been on boards where I made $20,000 or $25,000 a year.
Okay.
And then in some cases, I also had a chance to get the stock at reduced rates, like maybe the prior year's price. So it varies.
Okay.
But you got to pay them something. But if you think about it, you couldn't get that level of talent in no way, no hell, no possible way.
Right.
If you couldn't hire those people as full-time employees, they're not going to come to work for you.
Yeah.
And you can get a lot of good out of them because they know a lot of people. I mean, I was on a board once where we started talking about a project in a state that was 1,500 miles away from where the company was based.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the board members is like, oh, that's so-and-so. I know that guy. In fact, I'm going to be there next week. I'll go see him for you.
Yeah.
And we got the job.
Yeah.
And it was a huge job. Over $100 million construction cost.
Wow.
Which was a big job for this company. And it just never would have happened if it wasn't for this guy and the fact that he knew somebody there at the top.
Yeah. No, I've heard you tell that before. And again, I think that's important. That's a big takeaway for anybody listening in terms of, you want to choose people that are, you want to get some winners on your board, people that really have foresight, that have kind of been there, done that, have been in the trenches, and can come in and ultimately help you make a difference with your organization. If somebody's just excited to be on a board, but they're not going to lend anything to the conversation or help you grow your company, that may not be the best appointment to make when it comes to adding a board member.
Yep.
So, that's it. But all right. Well, listen, I just that's some good information there, and again, I know that there are a lot of you listening in that have questions about setting up a board, and we talk about that in some of our publications. Mark's always available to talk additionally about boards and proper setups and the way to get the most utilization out of it. So certainly you're more than welcome to reach out to us. And I think I may try to convince Mark to do a Facebook Live video about boards at some point in time in the future. We've got so many topics that we're going to talk about and discuss, but we'll certainly add that to the list. So in addition to this information and just reaching out to us at zweiggroup.com, we'll be more than happy to talk with you about the proper setup of a board for your organization and how you can make a difference by choosing the right people and having the right agenda and doing, setting up the right meeting schedule to make your board make a difference for your organization. So, but Mark, I want to thank you again for another great episode of the Zweig Letter podcast. Folks, I just want to just say that 2016 has been a great year. This podcast probably will come out right at the end of this year or the first of next year, but we're really excited about what's going to happen in 2017. There's some new things going on and that we will be announcing in the coming weeks that you will all be a part of, and that you'll be able to really kind of take Zweig Group wherever you go. And hopefully it will make a difference in how you run your organization, how you work, whether you are a solo practitioner or whether you're an employee in a firm. But we're just really excited to be a part of your listening enjoyment on a regular basis, whether you're at on a treadmill or out in the park taking a jog or whatever. We just appreciate you doing that. Love to get any questions that you have. Reach out to us at zweiggroup.com. You can always email questions to info@zweiggroup.com. And you can always hit me up on Twitter at Randy Wilburn. And I'll be more than happy to get with Mark, and we'll answer your questions that you may have. And we probably will do it right on this podcast in the near future. Also got last thing, I got a final gift for you. The Zweig Letter 6-week subscription for free, electronic edition. Just visit freetzl.zweiggroup.com. We'll send you that Zweig Letter subscription electronically. I think you'll enjoy it. And there's a lot of stuff happening with the Zweig Letter in 2017, as well as with all of our other products in 2017. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great year. Even if 2016 wasn't great for you, 2017 is going to be awesome. So thanks again. And I hope you guys have a great day. And we will talk with you next week here on the Zweig Letter podcast. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this Zweig Letter podcast. We hope that you can apply Mark's no-holds-barred advice to your daily professional life. For a free 6-week subscription to the Zweig Letter, please visit freetzl.zweiggroup.com to gain more wisdom and inspiration, in addition to information about leadership, finance, HR, and marketing your firm. Subscribe today.